From the latest drops to the hottest takes, this is Joy Conversations. Hello and welcome. My name is Tad Salee, otherwise known as Tadbusters. Today we're talking everything about Nintendo Direct. I have with me Tyler. Tyler, what did you think of this overall Direct? Were you happy? Give me your compressed version of your feelings about after seeing today's Nintendo Direct.
So my top level thoughts on this one is it's pretty good. It was pretty good, although I'm a little concerned. I have a few concerns. Specifically with, it's just balancing those expectations versus what we actually get at the end of the day, which has me worried about what the rest of the year is going to actually look like compared to what is promised. But we can get kind of more into that as we get into every little detail. But how about you on your top level thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this Direct was really hyped up, right? Like all of the hubbub online was really talking about this Direct being like the biggest Direct we've had, because our last Direct was in September. So hearing all of that, I had really high expectations. A part of me always knows to turn it down because I have never seen a Nintendo Direct that's really delivered on everything. I think what we have here and everything that we talked about on the last episode, some of our predictions, I think it was a good middle ground, right? And we're going to get into pretty much everything that was discussed during the Nintendo Direct. I'm happy with it, but I'm happy for the weird reasons. I'm also unhappy because we didn't get specific titles that I could have thought, hey, this is a no-brainer for Nintendo, some of the titles we talked about the last time. And so I'm happy, but also a little disappointed. It's kind of a weird feeling. But at the same time, I'm just happy we have some Nintendo games coming out this year that I think are going to be good for everybody, right? One title in particular was the new Sports Resort title that's coming out this fall.
That's like weirdly my most anticipated or most excited one out of the Direct, which is funny enough. Like, and that's the type of things about like a Nintendo Direct. It's like Nintendo just does their weird stuff. It's like you're going to be surprised by stuff you didn't even think to be surprised about, and then other stuff are going to come in left field that you think might be the obvious ones that don't show up or show up with some caveats. But how are you feeling about going back to that resort?
Man, that's so funny you say that, because I was honestly, that was kind of the lull point for me when that happened during the Direct.
Really?
I felt like it went on for up to 5 minutes. At least it was between 3 and 5 minutes long. And I started to kind of be like, okay, we've seen thumb wrestling for 2 minutes now. I don't know if I need to see much more of this. But I had this conversation with myself when I was watching this. I used to really love those sports kind of games, and that used to be a family staple for us growing up, was playing those games. And I remember playing with my brother and my mom and my dad. And so I have to remember that these titles that they're announcing are not just for the adult Nintendo fans, right? They have to cater to an audience of 13 and under as well. And I think, still at the end of the day, I don't know if you needed that much time during this Direct dedicated to Sports Resort, because your mom and dad are just going to go out and buy that title regardless. Like, they're not going to need to be sold on 5 minutes of thumb wrestling. They're just going to go and play it on a Friday night with, their 8-year-old kids. But other than that, I think there was definitely a little bit of everything here for everybody during this Direct. And I think that's why it was really special. I'm going to get into kind of the nitty gritty. We'll just go down the line as far as what came out, and then we can kind of chat about how we feel about each of those titles. So first off was Rhythm Heaven Groove. This is coming out next month. I don't know about you, but I'm a big Rhythm Heaven fan. I really loved the first one on was it the Game Boy or was it the DS? I think it was a DS title, right?
I believe it's DS originally coming on. Yeah.
Did you play the original?
Yeah, I never did. This is one of those franchises that Nintendo's had that like every single time they pull up a new Rhythm Heaven, I'm like, that's the one I'm going to get into. This franchise seems like it's so up my alley with my love of rhythm games. I don't know, just never find the right time, find the right like mood to be in, or I'm not in the right mood at the right time to actually jump into it. I'm hoping to jump into this one though. I'm hoping to finally get my hands on a Rhythm Heaven and be able to talk more about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to try it out, because it is one of those unique, quirky games that we don't usually see a whole lot of. Kind of like I was telling you about last time, WarioWare Mega Micro Games is my favorite game of all time. And it's these mini games that are short, and all you do is basically push the A button, maybe the D-pad every once in a while. And sometimes there's music influence, but I think Rhythm Heaven took that WarioWare formula and then added music, and which is why it made it so special. So I have a particular nostalgic love for Rhythm Heaven, and I'm super excited to jump back into it. I saw a lot of people that were streaming the Nintendo Direct online. They were kind of like disappointed that this is what we started the Direct with. I, on the other hand, was like, this is cool. I love me some Rhythm Heaven. I didn't know the release date, so I think it was already out there, but I was just excited to see like more gameplay and see that release date. And I watched the Treehouse Direct too, and they dive more into the games here and Rhythm Heaven, and cool. There's a lot of like multiplayer aspects, and it looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. Hopefully you and me will get a chance to play it online, maybe, because they have quite a few like different mini games that I think you'd really vibe well with.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I didn't even really like think of it. I always saw it as more of like a single player thing. So I didn't even think about like the multiplayer aspect and how that could be bouncing off each other rhythm wise. So that sounds cool. I'm down for that.
I think they're more like kind of gimmicky, you know. I mean, realistically, the whole game is kind of gimmicky, but it's not going to be a Game of the Year winner here, I don't think. But it's nice to just shut your brain off and you know, dance along to some music and just. Again, shut your brain off, push the A button. That's all you have to do. Jumping over to the next title that they announced was Onimusha Way of the Sword. This is going to be a port for the Switch 2. Comes out on September 25th. So Capcom, that they're bringing one of their biggest games to the Switch 2. This is actually a pretty big release. I didn't see this one coming. I don't think Onimusha, any of the previous ones are on Switch. I could be wrong. But are you excited for this?
Oh, yeah. This looks really cool. The problem is it's in that dreaded week of September 20th.
What's happening then?
I know everything's happening then. That month in general is becoming a bloodbath, and we'll even talk about later of another game that is in that month that will probably still be taking my time by the time this one even comes out. But regardless, like Onimusha, I'm a huge character action fan. This game looks more leaning towards that than it does like what we normally see now with a lot of sword-based action games, more Souls-like. It's kind of leaning back into that character action style, which is more up my alley. I'm excited for this one. I'm impressed that it's going to be on Switch 2 day and date as well. It is something that I didn't expect them to hit at the same time. I know we've had a lot of troubles with other third-party games kind of coming day and date. We just got a release date for Lego Batman. I know 007 we're still waiting on. So it's nice to see Capcom kind of come through and hit it at the same time as every other console counterpart.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen that happen with a Switch, or excuse me, it's been a long time since we've seen that happen on a Nintendo platform where we get day and date with other platforms, right? With Xbox, with PlayStation. And so it's really cool. And I think this is just kind of the signs that we're going to keep going from here, where we might get some day and date future titles. So it's Onimusha, right? Onimusha? I said Omnimusha. So Onimusha, right?
Onimusha, yeah.
Onimusha. Have you played the other titles?
No, I haven't. I've just always heard great stuff. And I know that they've been trickier to get until fairly recently with the recent 1 and 2 remasters. I know even the third one's supposed to be even a harder one to get past the finish line on a remaster nowadays. But I'm excited to jump into this one.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be good. And it has like unique Joy-Con 2 gameplay. So that looks like a lot of fun, where you're actually having to use the Joy-Cons to kind of mimic, you know, what kind of sword stances you're doing. I don't know how many people are going to be using that. Like, I feel like it's kind of a gimmick, but at least they have it here, right? They're trying to do something new and fresh. And like at the end of the day, they didn't have to do that. I want to swing around my Joy-Cons like a ninja again. It would bring back. Do you ever play Red Steel on the Wii?
Oh yeah, Red Steel, especially 2. Red Steel 2 is like one of my favorite Wii games. But that was like early days of the Wii Motion Plus, and they really kind of nail that like how more specific it was and with the sword melee and all that. Then, Red Steel 2 I think is really cool. It kind of bring up something about the motion controls. It's like, I know that Onimusha is supposed to be more, I mean, it is a multi-platform thing. It is not dedicated to the Switch. So I don't know how heavily they're going to lean on these motion controls. But if done right, you can get some really fantastic gameplay. Like you said, Red Steel 2 is a great example of utilizing it to its fullest potential. I think of even stuff like how No More Heroes used it. It's gimmicky, but like just the tactile nature of actually swinging the remote yourself to finalize your blows is like adds that extra oomph to the combat. I don't know how you feel about, like, have you played No More Heroes, and like what do you feel about swinging the your remote in those instances when there are versions of that game that don't have it too?
Yeah, I feel like it kind of lost a bit of the charm, after the Wii days, because that was the whole point of, owning these titles like Red Steel and, No More Heroes and the Wii. You had to swing the nunchuck. You had to swing the Wii remote. Nowadays, I feel like people are lazy and they don't want to have to get up off the couch, have to swing their Joy-Cons around. And I'd go on a tangent, but I feel like that's why VR has not really taken off like it really could have, is because at the end of the day, people just want to sit on the couch and watch on a TV. They don't want to have to go through the other layer, but I'm glad it's there for the people that are going to do it. I'm going to try it out. I'm curious to see how it's going to be. But I know it's probably just not for me as far as like swinging around the Joy-Cons. Jumping over to the other title that I was pretty surprised about is Dragon's Dogma 2 and the DLC Dark Arisen. So this is heading to the Switch 2 on October 9th. I played a bit of Dragon's Dogma 2 on the Xbox Series X. When it came out, 2 years ago? I feel like it's been out for forever now.
Don't tell me 2 years ago. It feels way sooner than that.
It feels like it's been crazy. Out for a minute. Yeah, and it's crazy. I'm curious. I'm going to look it up really quick because I'm curious what they're going to sell this title for. Because that's kind of a hot topic in the whole hemisphere of Nintendo post the Direct. How much Nintendo is selling a lot of these third-party titles for physically and digitally. I saw that Lies of P, which is getting released on the Switch 2, which we'll talk about here in a moment, is being released for $70 on the Switch, but it is full on cart.
Yeah, I think with Lies of P, I know that is the complete edition, so it is including all the DLC, which I think helps a little bit, especially with that DLC being fairly recent compared to when it initially released. But it is still rough. I mean, at the same time, we are talking about Nintendo. Again, it's third party, but Nintendo doesn't drop their prices anytime soon. Nintendo loves to keep it up in those full price things. So I'm not too surprised to see other third party companies, when they first release their games, their definitive editions, want to hit that full price point too. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Dragon's Dogma 2 is the same way, because it is also a new expansion being tacked onto it. So I'm not too worried about it. I mean, the market's going to dictate whether that price drops or not. But are you going to be picking up Lies of P at $70 on Switch 2?
We could get into the weeds of, on cart versus the code. I feel like since it's full on cart, I want to support those developers that are taking that effort. And even though I'm not super happy with the $70 price tag, I'll still support it. And it also benefits me because I have not played Lies of P yet. I just hear amazing things from everybody who likes kind of like Demon Souls types of games or Souls-likes. And they say it's kind of more of a forgiving Souls-like, which I'm excited to kind of jump into. And I haven't really heard too much about the story. I know it's about Pinocchio and it's a little bit fantasy and everything I've seen trailer-wise. This looks really cool. Anyways, as far as Dragon's Dogma goes, I know we kind of jumped ahead here. Are you going to pick up Dragon's Dogma 2?
I mean, again, it's one of those ones that like the first, or Dragon's Dogma 2 originally kind of fell by the wayside for me. It was a game I was really excited for at the time. A lot of other things coming out around there. Didn't get to it. I'm hoping I can find the time to actually jump into this, especially because I do know that another thing that kind of dissuaded me over time was hearing more and more people who playing through Dragon's Dogma 2 kind of unearthing a lot of the issues that game had, little gripes that they had compared to the original. And I'm hoping that Dark Arisen, this new expansion, is going to add a lot to the full product that kind of brings it up to speed with the original and really makes it the proper sequel people wanted out of Dragon's Dogma 2. And if I want to wait, feel out, see what people say about it. If that's the message that I'm getting from those diehard fans, then I think this is the one for me. Otherwise, I could see myself just playing more 1.
Yeah, 1. You can't go wrong with 1. Dragon's Dogma 1 is a great title. I do want to jump back into Dragon's Dogma 2. I remember when I was playing it on Xbox, I was really enjoying my time with it. Unfortunately, other things just came out at that time. And, it's a big open world fantasy RPG. And I feel like we've had a lot of those over the years. So, but now I feel like it's a really good time to jump in. And then, that'll be kind of on the precursor to the Witcher 3 DLC that I'll, jump into next year, or the expansion, the huge expansion for Witcher 3.
Yeah, the battle of expansions, Dark Arisen or Witcher 3.
We really are at a battle of expansions right now. Devil May Cry 5 was the next title that was unveiled, Devil Hunters Edition. So Capcom is releasing DMC 5 on Switch 2, June 23rd. Soon. That's in just a couple of weeks. Did you play DMC 5? Does this excite you?
Yeah, DMC 5 is a great game. I don't see any reason why, if anyone who hasn't played it, shouldn't pick this up. Especially with, again, the luxury of having these later editions is like, these are the complete versions with all the DLC gonna come with every update and the most polished, complete version of the game you can get, and now on the go with a lot of different challenges you can go on for DMC 5 that I think will fit really well as a good pick up and play game. But how about you?
Yeah, I like DMC 5, but I don't think I'm going to jump back in and replay it. I think it's one of the best DMC games. It might even be the best. I just, we've got so much coming out. We got Star Fox kind of that same week. So I'll probably prioritize Star Fox on the Switch 2 instead of this. But this is really cool for those people that have never played DMC 5. It is an awesome action, what would you call it? An action platformer? Action...
I call this character action, or I've heard people bandy around the term, what's it called? I just blanked on it. It's... spectacle fighter. I've heard people bandy around the term spectacle fighter for these type of things. I still am a fan of the character action moniker. But yeah, I'd put them closer to that than, say, again, like a Souls-like or even a traditional action game that you would think.
I have never heard the term character action. Maybe...
No, you have not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
DMC would be a good example of character action. It's pretty much anything Platinum makes.
I was going to say...
Platinum makes character action games. That's their thing.
Right. Is Bayonetta in that same genre?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they kind of have, again, like, coined different terms for these types of games. Like, 3D beat-em-ups, maybe more of like a traditional way of explaining it. Character action mainly because of just like a one singular character with a vast tool set that you're kind of a big part of the game is learning that character's tool set and how to maximize it for the most stylish version. That's where like Spectacle Fighter also kind of comes in. Not too big of a fan of that genre term because it's not a fighting game. It kind of feels too like there are fighting game elements in it per se with like the way combos work in character action games, but I wouldn't. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Now I'm just going down a rabbit hole of why video game genres are the most confusing thing ever. We got bullet heavens, bullet hells, character action. Games can be described in 5 different ways. But that's not what we're talking about. Nintendo Direct here. Nintendo, a very sane company that wouldn't do such a thing.
Never, no. But I
Yeah.
do think that is a good topic we could cover at some point. All the different genres that are out there, because you just taught me something new, and I hope that doesn't mean that I'm a bad video game journalist here, that I didn't quite know what character action means. But speaking of character action, Stellar Blade is announced, which I could not believe this is coming to the Switch, Switch 2, because I thought this was a Sony property now. So are you a fan of Stellar Blade? Did you play it?
So, I did not play it, but I know that Stellar Blade was, I believe Sony published or Sony supported, but it is a franchise that they never particularly owned. It's still Shift Up that owns it. So after the success of the first game, they were able to branch off and kind of cut that tie from Sony and move forward. Because I know that we are going to have Stellar Blade 2. I forget what the subtitle is, but
something Stellar Blade 2.
Bloodstone, yeah. It's like Stellar Blade, Blood Rain.
It's always something.
No, it's not. Yeah, once you said that, I'm like, no, wait.
It's always Blood Rain.
It's always Blood Rain. But
well, you're in for a treat. Stellar Blade is an awesome kind of Souls-like type game. It's definitely fast-paced. It's very action-heavy. I'm excited for this to come to Switch. I'll definitely be playing this on the Switch too, for sure.
Nice. By the way, I did not realize you weren't kidding about Blood Rain. I thought that was a joke about the Blood Rain franchise. And I'm like, oh, it actually is called Stellar Blade Blood Rain. I was like, no, wait, they called it that.
Yeah, I think that other franchise has been dormant for a long time now. So they have full rights to use Blood Rain. And who knows, maybe they're going to cross-pollute Blood Rain and Stellar Blade here.
The Stellar Blade multiverse with Blood Rain. And they'll re-release all the Blood Rain games, and they'll be $70 as well. But they'll be all in cart.
And then they can make it all come full circle, and Uwe Boll can direct the Stellar Blade Blood Rain movie.
Yeah.
Next, Rayman Legends Retold. This is coming out October 1st. It's coming out on Switch too, but available on other platforms. I'm excited for this. This is so cool to see that we're getting kind of a retake on Rayman Legends. The OG game was so much fun. The music platforming sections, I think, were definitely a standout. And I love me some Rayman. I'm just glad that we got Rayman coming back nowadays, because it feels like Rayman has been dormant for so long. Our Torso friend needs to come back and really make a name for himself. We need some more Rayman games, and hopefully this is just the start, because we had another Rayman title come out earlier this year, the collection. I'm still waiting on my, I think, physical version of that. But are you excited Rayman is back?
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is a stepping stone to a new Rayman Legends proper sequel. I'm a little conflicted on this remaster or remake, mainly because it looks beautiful. And Rayman Legends is one of those top tier platformers that rivals Mario. I think it's going to be right at home on Switch 2. But at the same time, I think the original art style is fantastic, and that game is still playable in so many different ways that it's like, how necessary is a remake of this game in this way, really? I think I would have been more into it if it was a sequel. Because again, it's like on its own, the art looks incredible too, but this 3D aesthetic kind of just deviates too far from the original 2D aesthetic. I think it looks fantastic already. Didn't really need any extra oomph to it. Have you played Rayman Legends though before? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, I played. I didn't beat the original, but I did enjoy it. Like I said, I loved those music sections. I'm with you though. I would have preferred this to be a sequel or something, a different take. But I see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to get a new generation of gamers. I mean, there's definitely a theme that's going on, and you take a look at what's happening during the State of Play, during the Xbox Showcase, during the Summer Game Fest. A lot of stuff is remakes.
Yeah.
of previous, big IPs, Spyro, Crazy Taxi, God of War, Gears of War. I mean, we're kind of in that weird pocket where I think we're at the end of the life cycle on like, the PS5 and the Xbox, and Switch is still kind of, a little bit behind. So we have new generations of gamers these days that really started on like the PS4 and PS5 that might not have really tried out some of these other titles. So I'm excited for them to try it. I hope this just means that Rayman is going to get more games in the future, because I love me some Rayman. But I really want to go back, and I don't know how people are going to feel about this, but I really want to go back to the 3D platforming style of Rayman. Rayman 2, The Great Escape, is one of my favorite platformers. The music, just the nostalgia for that game, and it's a genuinely really good. I replayed it last year. It's a really good platformer. So I hope we get more Rayman games.
Yeah, it seems like that would be the one to remake that would be a little more exciting for me, where it felt like there is a lot of room for improvement on those older 3D platformers. It's also more unique. It's also more unique to apply a updated graphics to that 3D style versus a 2D style that is a lot newer and still looks just as good today as it did in, I believe, 2014 it originally come out, Rayman Legends. So
that's crazy. It feels like it was not too long ago, but I do remember playing it on the Vita, or was it the PSP? So yeah, it's been out for a minute. Next one is Orbitals. This looks pretty cool. This is like the retro anime style co-op game that's coming out on the Switch 2, exclusive on September 3rd. This looks really cool. It just like oozes style, and I think this is going to be a fun one to kind of, scratch that itch for the co-op, the couch co-op kind of game that we usually get every year. And it doesn't look like we're going to get like an It Takes Two or a Split Fiction type of game this year. So I think this is going to, scratch that itch for a lot of people. I think me and my girlfriend will hopefully sit down and play it, if not me and one of my buddies, because my girlfriend can kind of get a little ADHD and kind of space off from playing video games. So I don't know, maybe you and me can kind of sit down. Are you excited to play this? Do you think your fiance is excited to play this, or does she, like couch co-op games? Is this your style?
I'm excited for this. I've definitely showed it to my fiance, and she seems interested. We'll see how it goes again. Like once you get your hand on the controllers, like we both kind of ended up not really vibing with Split Fiction the same way like we were so into It Takes Two. I know it's like Split Fiction is kind of generally considered to be a much better game, but we just kind of didn't feel that way. So it has me a little like, oh no, I hope Orbitals isn't that way, because it looks so good that I want to connect with it the same way that I connected with It Takes Two. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I'm happy that we finally got a release date, because I have been excited for this game for a while on these directs, and it felt like they were just kind of teasing like it's soon. So, and it's early enough in September. It's not too bad. I can deal with that. But how about you?
Hopefully it's a shortish game. I hope that it's only like 8 hours to 10 hours long. Like that's the perfect, like Split Fiction, It Takes Two. Those were good lengths. Like, and that's enough for, I think, just to kind of get that feel of a couch co-op game. Especially if you're playing with somebody who, like, is, maybe like your fiance or my girlfriend. You can kind of get stuck with, and I feel bad for saying this, you kind of get stuck with somebody who's not exactly like the best at video games. And so it's like kind of like they're, they're having a little bit of a tough time. So you kind of have to go back, or sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced this, where it can kind of like cause a little bit of like a kerfluffle in the household for a second, where you guys just like, why didn't you do this? Well, I did do that. Why can't you push the A button faster? It just becomes a little bit.
I feel like if you can get through Overcooked, you can get through anything, because that was the one for me of like, that's the one really testing our patience, testing challenges, but nothing's ever been there yet, not even Split Fiction. So I have high hopes for Orbitals that will find that path. But
speaking of multiplayer games, we got Big Walk coming out on August 4th. This is a cool indie style game by House. Comes out on the Switch too. This looks pretty fun. I definitely want to dig into this, give this a try. It's like a puzzle solving game. I've heard really great things, and it just like, it looks kind of like a cozy game, but also a hectic cozy game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a little more laid back, open-ended, like laid back puzzle with your friend. That seems like a pretty specific vibe that I think would kind of, what's the word? Like hit that puzzle, that co-op puzzle area, but also like a kind of a friend slot type thing, and still not be too involved that it kind of detracts from the friend slot fun laid back aspect of it. So
talk about a genre kind of name, friend slop game. Like that's the second time I've heard it in 2 days. It's
that's
so
what
funny.
I do like that name. I think that's a funny name to call it. It kind of describes exactly like what you need out of it, or what you are gonna get out of it. It's like, just like a casual like popcorn friend game.
Yeah,
I'll take that genre name.
We played a friend swap game at my house a year ago. The Jedi 2, what was it? The Star Wars Jedi game.
Oh, Jedi. It's like Jedi Academy.
Jedi Academy.
No. Jedi Power Battles. That's what
Jedi Power Battles. Yeah. And that's talk about a friend slop game. But that was like Friend Slop 97. So Friend Slop's been around for a while. We just started the name.
These Jedi has been friend slopping before you were born. Right?
Pokemon Pokopia expansion pass comes out. This is definitely really exciting for a lot of people. I don't know about you, but Pokopia, I really enjoyed my time with it. I spent about 20 hours, but I think I got my fill. And I just don't know if it's for me. It's, kind of in that same vein of like Animal Crossing, where I think, my girlfriend really enjoyed that. And, I think a lot of people who want that kind of cozy itch are going to really enjoy these expansion passes. I don't know if I'm going to jump into this expansion pass, but it does look cool. I might just pick it up just to kind of try it out. Are you a Pokemon Pokopia fan? Are you a Pokemon addict? A Pokopium addict? You know what I'm saying.
I'm on that Pokopium, as they say.
Pokopium.
Yeah. I'm actually not.
I like it.
I'm on that Pokemon Copium. I do love a good Pokemon game. Pokopia, though, specifically, not scratching my itch, mainly because it is that specific Animal Crossing style cozy game. I have to just really be in the mood for it, and I've just generally not felt that way for a while. So, but I can't deny how impressive it is. Everything I've seen about Pokemon Pokopia, I can understand why it's such a huge hit. And looking at this update, I'm like, these look like some fantastic changes. So I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit.
I think my issue with it is that, and this is no fault of the game at all. It's a personal issue. It's that I'm just not that creative when it comes to like construction and building in games. It's never why I like really fell in love with like Minecraft or Dragon Quest builders. Like building kind of games take a lot of patience and a lot of creativity. And usually when I'm trying to play a game, I'm not trying to like think and be like, oh, I want to do this and build this out here and create these blueprints and, really plan this stuff out. And like, that's all good and well for that certain type of gamer. In fact, I like really applaud you if you're that kind of gamer, because that is really tough to like work, an 8-hour shift, come home, make dinner, and you got like an hour to yourself and you're like, I want to go and build something crazy. And then, you've got like all of these different basins in Pokopia, so you've got multiple different areas. So like, kudos to you if you're that kind of gamer. Maybe I'll jump in and jump back into Pokopia. I do want to like try to catch as many different Pokemon as I can and just have fun in that way without the pressure, because I just put too much pressure on myself. Now I'm ranting. Next one. One Piece Grand Gourmet. Ranting about Pokemon.
Ranting about Pokemon?
We'll just glaze over this one, but this looked interesting. I wanted to bring up. It's kind of like a, I don't know if you'd put it into the 16-bit kind of. It looks pretty cute. One Piece Grand Gourmet. I'm only familiar with One Piece when it comes to the Netflix show, which is spectacular. This comes out October 23rd. It looks kind of cool. I wonder if it's going to be anything like Overcooked, if it's going to be as hectic, or if it's going to be, more kind of kid-friendly. Does this intrigue you at all?
Yeah, not really my thing. Not necessarily the gameplay. It looks interesting. It's just I'm not a One Piece guy. Just doesn't nothing else about it immediately grabs me. And not being a One Piece fan, I feel like I can sit this one out. This one's just not going to be for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same page, depending on how much it is. If it's, relatively low price, like $14.99, maybe even $19.99. But if we're talking like full, $49.99 or even $59.99, then yeah, I'll probably wait for a sale on this. But it looks really cool for the fans of One Piece. This looks like a really cool title, and I like that they're trying something new here. And I think more anime titles should give this a shot if they're going to be making a video game adaptation. One I am excited for, though, and I know you're excited based on our conversation we had last time, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. We finally have a release date for this, September 17th. Man, this just like ooze style. This had some really cool gameplay. We saw cinematics. You saw some of the cool skills that you can use in combat. This looked like we're kind of taking the step back from the previous Fire Emblem game and jumping back to that Three Houses kind of style that I think a lot of people liked. Are you excited for this? Is this going to be a day one for you?
Yeah, this will be a day one for me. Again, that dang month, September, though. We'll see. This is one it'll pain me to miss, because the Fire Emblem Engage, I just wasn't really vibing with. And it's what made me realize that, I love the Fire Emblem combat, but it's specifically that mixture that Three Houses had of like the social aspects that are very much Persona-esque in their design. And that mixed with the combat, mixed with the way that structure is about how each level works, that's what really drew me in. And Fortune's Weave seems like it's really building itself around that in a similar way. Replace a school with a coliseum, and all the characters you're going to meet in that coliseum. I love the vibe, that coliseum Roman aesthetic throughout the whole thing. Combat looks just as good as it always has. I'm a sucker for a great tactical game. So yeah, this is a big one for me. This is probably the big Nintendo game of the year that for me. Star Fox maybe a close second. Another game maybe a close third. If it comes out, we'll see. I'll leave that there. But yeah, Fortune's Weave, I'm really excited for this year. Do you see yourself playing it in September, in the dreaded month of September?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. I'm gonna make time for it. If I have to sacrifice something else, then a Fire Emblem just is kind of a priority for me. I really like that they're kind of going that aspect of they have the 4 different main characters, and you can kind of choose the storyline that you go into. I love that social aspect that you're talking about. And then the trailer really highlighted some cool things that I'm excited to jump into. We got the young boy, and he's like looking to save his father. And then you've got another person who's a swordsman. And then you've got a queen. So you kind of have this like, you pretty much have everybody in this game that you'd want to see as far as the story goes. And then they had their own like special techniques that you could deploy. And I think this is going to be definitely one that I'm probably going to get the collector's edition for too. It's kind of an expensive, $130, but it's definitely one that I'm excited to get my hands on. And we don't get a ton of like collector's editions for Switch 2 titles, so this is probably one I'm going to dip into. And I know we chatted last time, but I haven't played too much of Fire Emblem Engage, and I know many people that I talked to weren't the biggest fans of it. But I did really like Three Houses. So if it's more like Three Houses, then I'm super in for a new Three Houses type of game. Donkey Kong challenges. We got some Donkey Kong challenges that are coming up here. They just started today. They're only for a limited time, though. Do you see yourself jumping back into any Donkey Kong titles, Bonanza or Donkey Kong Country 2, to get some of these kind of like Nintendo trophies?
I could see myself jumping into Bonanza. I'm a huge fan of that game. The rest, we're gonna have to wait and see. But Yeah, I think this is a neat thing. It's a neat new way for them to add another multiplayer aspect into Nintendo Switch Online. I know they love to do that with all these anniversaries of Mario. They've done Zelda, F-Zero, like the F-Zero 99s and Tetris 99, stuff like that. They've done. No, it's not so this seems like a new twist on those kind of things they like to do for Nintendo Switch Online. So I'm excited for it. How about you?
Yeah, I want to jump back in with Donkey Kong and Pauline in those Mario outfits. It didn't seem like we got a whole lot of other content when it came to Donkey Kong Bonanza, but those challenges seem pretty cool to kind of jump into. And I actually never beat Bonanza, so this gives me a good reason to go back in and finish the game. I loved what I played. It's just we had so much out at the time. And for me, I kind of got the idea of what the game was, after so many biomes into the game. I was like, okay, this is really cool, and I want to really savor it, and I have been. So I'm excited to jump back into Bonanza and finally give it a true playthrough. Minecraft is also coming out finally for the Switch 2, which is just crazy that we didn't have a Switch 2 version of this already. It's a feature-packed port, and it has improved visuals. The Super Mario Mashup Pack, where you can explore the Mario-themed world, 15 music tracks, and 40 Super Mario-inspired player skins. Are you a Minecraft fan? Does this intrigue you at all? Are you going to dabble in this at all?
Yeah, I love Minecraft. I've been playing it since, alpha at this point. I grew up on that game. And I joke about, waiting on Nintendo Switch 2 version like finally, but it actually is a exciting endeavor where having the Switch 1 version does have a lot of limitations on it because of the hardware it had to deal with. And I know what limitations it's Minecraft, but it's like little things here and there that can go a long way with what you can do with your world. So I actually do think having the Switch 2 version is going to be a big benefit. And I'm excited to play this game more on the go.
Given that this is the biggest game of all time, surpassing Grand Theft Auto 5, it's crazy that we didn't have a Switch 2 version of this like right out of the gate when the Switch 2 came out last year.
Right. Yeah.
So wild to think that those Minecraft fans have been, playing the Switch 1 version for as long as they have on their Switch 2. I'm a PC Minecraft guy, diehard. Well, I wouldn't consider myself a diehard, but a diehard PC player for Minecraft just because I think this platform fits Minecraft. It's just easier to build and engage with people on Discord. So, but I am curious to see how they might integrate with the Switch camera and if you can play with your friends that way. So hopefully we learn a little bit more about Minecraft when it releases later this year. Another exciting one that I was not expecting to come to the Switch 2 is Lords of the Fallen 2. I never got around to playing this first one. I did not expect this on the Switch 2 at all because I thought this was kind of tied to PlayStation. I didn't know if this was a Sony exclusive, but it kind of seemed like it was more or less like a Sony exclusive.
I believe it's Embracer, right? Is this an
you
Embracer
might be
game?
right. Yeah. It's a brutally difficult. Yeah, it's a brutally difficult Souls-like that brings its dark fantasy action to Switch 2 this autumn. So what do you think? Are you going to jump into Lords of the Fallen 2?
Lords of the Fallen 2, I don't see myself jumping into it because honestly at this point, I haven't even touched the Elden Ring DLC. And I look at this dearth of Souls-like games and it's if I'm going to go back and do one of them, it's likely gonna be the one from FromSoft at this point, versus Lords of the Fallen 2, which again is, I know technically what I believe they're third or fourth. It's kind of like a sequel to a remake. So it's come a long way, but those original ones just felt like lesser Dark Souls games to me. So just didn't really capture me that way.
Yeah, it's a German studio. At least Lords of the Fallen, the original back in 2014, because if you remember, there was an original Lords of the Fallen, and then in 2023 they did the remake, which is by Hexworks. And now we're getting the sequel here by Hexworks, and with CI Games acting as the self-publisher across all platforms. So yeah, cool that this is coming out. I just hope that it doesn't land in that September timeframe. Like, I think, developers need to start pushing stuff later into the year. Like, I know we're trying to avoid Grand Theft Auto like it's the plague, but you still have December open. There is still the holiday. You still have Christmas, and maybe some of these Nintendo games that we're going to get into are going to come out in December. I have a feeling that it's going to be a really good time for like Zelda to come out this December. But yeah, I'm excited for Lords of the Fallen 2. I didn't play the first one, but it's probably going to be a backlog game, unfortunately. One that I am going to jump right into when it comes out August 6th is Lies of P, which we talked about. And this, we kind of already chatted mostly about how we're, excited for this, but this is definitely one that I'm, going to try to prioritize.
And I think, again, when it comes to those Souls-likes on the go on Switch 2, Lies of P is the one to pick. That is probably the truest to a FromSoft-like experience I've ever played from a not FromSoft game. So that'd be my pick. Again, I don't know. Maybe Lords of the Fallen 2 really blows it out of the water. But it'd be hard to beat Lies of P.
Next one here, Xenoblade Chronicles games are getting a Switch 2 upgrade. This is probably the highlight of the show for me.
I know you're a big Xenoblade guy.
I am a wannabe Xenoblade guy. That's the thing. I'm not actually a Xenoblade guy. I've dabbled in them. I've played hours here and there and, really tried to find the time, but they're just so beefy. And then something's always come out. I've played Xenoblade Chronicles, not through, but at least attempted to try to play through it a dozen or so times on the Wii U and then the Switch. So yeah, we get this in 4K 60 and better enhancements to visuals, improved cutscenes across all three titles. Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition, then Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. That's a mouthful. Comes out today. So I downloaded the patch. It's $10 right now on the eShop. I'm excited to jump into that. I also downloaded a couple of demos that we'll talk about here in a moment. Do you see yourself jumping back into any Xenoblade? Are you a Xenoblade guy? We haven't talked if you're Xenoblade. Give me the dirty deets.
Oh, I'll give you all the dirty deets on Xenoblade. I know everything. I don't know anything, actually. I've never played any of them. But again, I'm kind of with you on that, where like I have definitely been staring at Xenoblade forever, looking at it. I've heard so many good things from a close friend of mine who is a diehard fan of this franchise, and I believe him. I will one day jump in, just the time needs to be right. And I'm not going to lie, the hour count is very daunting. So that's kind of what holds me back a bit.
I think what's so enticing about it is like I really want to sink my teeth into a just big RPG that I can live with and see these characters through. The issue is there's 3 games and then Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that's not counting the DLC for 2, which is almost like a full game. So you've already got 5 Xenoblade games on the Switch already. And 2, the DLC to 2, I was reading, is getting an update as well for free. Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, those are all going to be $10 upgrades. So we're getting 2 as a free upgrade for some reason. So yeah, we've got, I don't even know how many hours total. I'm curious, actually. I'm so curious about this. I want to know how many hours it would take for you to beat all Xenoblade games.
Are you talking about completionists? You're talking about mainline the story?
Just the mainline story.
Yeah, I know X, it's like alone is a beefy game. And that's just a spinoff, so.
Okay, so this is just an AI overview, but it says to beat all of the Xenoblade games, including the main stories and major spin-offs, you will need roughly 270 to 350 hours. Those seem low to me. But if you want to see everything that these massive worlds have to offer, you can exceed 8 to 1,000 hours, which sounds probably about right. Crazy. Wow. Insane.
Yeah, and I bet 7,000 of them are just X.
Probably, yeah. And then on top of that, we got a new Xenoblade that's coming out next year, Xenoblade Genesis. It was just a brief kind of overview, but this game looks gorgeous. It almost has a new visual identity not compared to any of the other Xenoblade games. What did you think of this trailer? Does this entice you to jump into Xenoblade for the first time?
I think I'd feel like a Xenoblade poser if I try to jump in at 4. I just don't. I know it's not really 4. It's its own separate thing, but I feel like such a poser if I tried, especially with like the cultural cachet that Xenoblade Chronicles 1 has. I feel like I do need to see that through to the end before jumping into any of these other ones. But regardless, it does look like a cool game. It does look it's going to be a really promising JRPG. So for Xenoblade fans, I'm sure they're going to be eating good these next couple of months to a year. We'll see how long it takes for this game to come out.
Glad that Xenoblade fans are getting a lot of content, though. One that we briefly touched on was Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. This doesn't have a release date yet, but this looks like it's a fun collection of mini games. There's 12 sports to take part in, including bowling, boxing, basketball, and there was also thumb wrestling, which took up a significant segment of the live stream, which is just such an odd choice. Like, the people behind Nintendo, I don't know why they make some weird decisions like this. I mean, you also had Hello Kitty Party Forever with all your friends, love everything Mario Party theme game. So who knows? But you do have to have a little bit of everything for everybody. So Nintendo Sports Resort comes out this fall, and I think I'll dabble into it, but I can't imagine I'm going to spend a whole lot of hours on this.
One thing I was looking into, I was like, I believe it does have a release date. It's October 22nd.
Does it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So,
okay.
Should be.
They're trying to. Couple weeks before GTA, they're cutting. They're getting close there.
I was like, this might be the latest release date to GTA possible. Hey man, Nintendo's like, what can we do to compete with GTA? Let's do one of the most popular games of ours, Wii Sports, right?
RuneScape Dragon Wilds. RuneScape is back, apparently. I am surprised that people weren't like more excited about this. The chat wasn't super popping off for RuneScape. Maybe I haven't kept up with RuneScape. Is this this comes out September 15th. Is this the first RuneScape that's coming back? So RuneScape Dragon Wilds, are you a RuneScape fan? This comes out September 15th.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this thing till actually like a couple weeks ago at work, hearing about it from a coworker who's a big RuneScape guy. I still thought RuneScape was like the same one in my head on the PC from ages ago that like was so rudimentary and pixelated to hell. And I'm like looking at this, I'm like, oh, it's like a video game. RuneScape's an actual game. So I'm interested. It actually kind of got me interested, just out of more of a curiosity than I guess like me excited for what it will be and to dive in. But I'm curious to see what a RuneScape looks like today, because my memory of what RuneScape is now challenged after this. But what's your history with RuneScape?
Yeah, I dabbled in RuneScape back in the day, but I never really fell in love with it. I had a lot of friends that did. I think my question is this going to pull those RuneScape players that are playing today, like OG RuneScape? Are they going to come and play Dragon Wilds? Is this going to be a new title that's going to entice them? It's got a new visual identity, so it definitely looks cool, but I feel like RuneScape fans are so stubborn with their old janky ass game that they don't want to leave. They've been living with that for 20 years. So I would be surprised if they do, but we'll have to wait to see when it comes out September 15th to see the reviews and what people are saying about it. Maybe it's going to be the next RuneScape that's going to pull a lot of people away. So yeah, it looks really cool. Star Fox, though, that comes out just in a couple of weeks. And we got a free demo as well. I jumped in and started playing some of the demo this afternoon for just a little bit. This is actually pretty good. From the demo, what I played, it looks fantastic. This is like what I wanted from a Switch 2 kind of Star Fox game. Visually, the graphics are awesome, and I think the only concern that I have is just I'm curious how short this game is going to be based on the new added content. Is this going to be kind of the same length as the 64 version and the other previous versions of Star Fox 64? Because we've had 4 of them at this point. Star Fox, does it entice you? We knew we'd see it here, but are you going to be picking it up day one?
Oh, Star Fox, yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm just really enjoyed the gameplay loop of Star Fox. Kind of gives me those, it's gonna sound like a weird pull, but Outrun in the way that like the leveling system works and how you jump between each one and how the different routes you can take on your journey through the stars. And I'm a huge Outrun fan. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think it looks beautiful. I think the character models are a little iffy, but that's not going to deter me from what looks like a very fun upgrade of a classic game that I've already enjoyed. So,
speaking of classic games, we got a new Final Fantasy HD 2D type engine game, which looks cool. Final Fantasy Resonance. It lands on the Switch consoles October 22nd. You take that Octopath Traveler kind of style, and I think it fits really well with Final Fantasy. I hope I have the time to play this, but I know we're so stacked this fall that I could fall on the backlog. I loved Final Fantasy Tactics that I played last year, so it gave me some of those similar vibes. Do you think that you'll pick this up?
Yeah, I would like to try it out. This is one of those ones I'm actually hoping gets a demo, because the idea of having a HD 2D Final Fantasy game, like having that Final Fantasy spectacle combined with the HD 2D style, just seems so interesting and so right up my alley when it comes to like combining the old with the new. I hope there's a good demo. I want to try it out. I would love to try this game when it fully releases.
Definitely. Yeah, the style of this game, it just looks very well produced. Visually, it looks so cool, and it's kind of mixing that HD 2D really well here. This looks really cool. So I'm hopeful for this, and I don't necessarily think we've ever really gotten a bad HD 2D game. So, the fact that it's tactical, I think, it's going to scratch an itch that I want this year. Coming off of like Octopath Traveler 0 and Final Fantasy Tactics. So, excited to jump in here. One that we predicted that we'd see a release date for, the Duskbloods. This was shown off again here at this Direct. We had a new trailer, and we're getting a closed network test this summer, but no release date here, which I was really surprised about. They said it's coming out this summer, though, which kind of makes me think that they're not confident in that time frame. I don't know. What do you think about that, and are you going to play the Duskbloods?
Yeah, this is one of those weird ones. I mentioned earlier about like some things that you would expect out of this that kind of Nintendo throws a curveball. I think this is one of them. I look at this, it looks interesting, but I'm like, that's it? After all this time, that's it? It's just a kind of a CG, it looks like a CG render, not proper gameplay shown off, but then just told a closed network test is in the future, no release date. It just seems a little underwhelming to me. I'd almost rather that it just didn't show anything. But what about you? You think you're going to jump into that closed network test?
Honestly, probably not. I think that it's just, it'll be something that I look at online and kind of hear about what other people are saying about the Duskbloods. It just, to me, makes me feel like this could get a delay into 2027. If we're not seeing a release date for this summer already during this Direct, because presumably the next Direct we see is in September. So if we don't see a release date here, which we didn't, I'm thinking that it's either going to get just announced on Twitter, which doesn't, bode well for marketing for this kind of game, or it's a December release. So, because we know they're going to avoid November. So if we're trying to time frame this out, I think it has to be December. But Nintendo's got another big game that I think is going to be a December title. So that's why I'm thinking this is going to be a 2027 title. Mark my words. If it happens, then I will buy. I'll buy somebody on this channel a copy of the Duskbloods if it does get pushed to 2027. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World. This is technically Dragon Quest Monsters 3. This is coming out in December. I love the Monsters games. I saw this trailer and I was like, what is this game? I knew it was Dragon Quest, but I couldn't put my finger on which kind of Dragon Quest it was. I was silently hoping that it was a Dragon Quest Builders 3, but I guess they don't want to make money. I'm sure Monsters will make money, but I was really hoping for a little bit more when it comes to some Monsters content. And maybe I was just thrown off by the two female protagonists, but I'll still jump in here. This is gonna scratch that kind of like Pokemon-esque itch that I usually like to try every year. How about you? Are you a Dragon Quest Monsters fan?
No, I've never actually played any of them. I wonder if well, no. I know that the Dragon Quest Builders people worked on Pokopia. That's not the same devs as Monsters, correct? That's a different team.
Yeah, different team.
Yeah, different team. Okay, because I was like, maybe that's where that's coming from. But yeah, I never played any of the Dragon Quest Monsters games. They look interesting. I just am, again, one of those things. Don't want to be a Dragon Quest poser. I haven't played any of these games. And the only thing I know about Dragon Quest is the references made in Yakuza Like a Dragon, because I love a Yakuza game, or a Like a Dragon game nowadays. But Dragon Quest Builder or Dragon Quest Monsters doesn't seem like it'll be the one for me. But
nobody's gonna know, Tyler. If you jump in, I mean, now you have announced it here on this podcast.
They'll know. They'll be like, you like a Dragon Quest monster? Name every monster. And I'm like, the squid guy. And I'm like, that's not a squid. That's a slime. I'm like, I don't know anymore.
Well, we've got a plethora of Dragon Quest titles to play if you are itching to start, and I'll walk you through where your best point of action is. I'm curious if you've played any of this, because we've never talked about this title here, Splatoon. Splatoon Raiders is coming out July 23rd, so a month and a half from now. This looks really good. It's more Splatoon. I watched a bit of it during the Treehouse Direct, and yeah, I didn't see a whole lot that was like anything super different compared to other Splatoon games. It's going to scratch that itch for Splatoon fans, and you got a shiny new Splatoon game. I'm excited to dig in. This is kind of like the Switch's version of Call of Duty. So, yeah, I'm excited for this. But how about you? Are you going to dabble into Splatoon Raiders, and have you played Splatoon before?
I love Splatoon. I was so invested in the first one when it came out on Wii U, and it's a franchise I really loved, but then as 2 and 3 came on, they just felt so similar that my excitement just kind of slowly waned over time. But Splatoon Raiders actually has my excitement back. Seeing that it's a more single player focused game has me interested of what direction they want to go with this, like how they're going to translate something that's more traditionally multiplayer. They've always had campaigns, but something that's designed specifically for multiplayer, now designed specifically for PvE, and what that's going to look like, especially when you have a mechanic so strongly tied to like a turf battle that is meant to be PvP focused. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping that this is the one that's going to grab me and keep me playing longer than 2 or 3 did. But what about you?
Yeah, I think you said it Exactly how I feel. I'm glad that they're kind of going into this like single player approach here, and that's risky because this is Splatoon, which is kind of known for its its core multiplayer mechanics. I think that Nintendo is obviously this is a spin-off, so it's gonna feel different from the core games, but this looks really cool, and I think it's coming out at a good time in July where we don't have a whole lot of big heavy hitters here, so this is the perfect time for it. The question is this going to scratch the itch for Splatoon 3 players that are still stuck on that game? Are they going to move off of that and play this? I think this does have some multiplayer aspects to it, but not at the same
Mhm.
level as Splatoon 3 does.
It seems more co-op focused compared to, like, again, like the PvP specific focus of a Splatoon game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about like the new mechs and the gadgets and the combat. And then it seems like we've got some new exploration, and it has like a 2-layer map system where the surface islands to explore for treasures and vast underground networks of dungeons are accessible for you if you're in a single map. But I know Splatoon fans are excited for it, so I'm happy they're excited for it, and I'm going to be picking it up day one for sure. Metaphor ReFantazio. I predicted this the last time we talked. It comes out November 12th. The problem is I haven't played Liza P or Metaphor ReFantazio. So I'm going to be eating good in that week of November. And I know Metaphor is a long game. I think Liza P is like the bare minimum a 30-hour title, right? And then 2 weeks later, or a week later, we have Grand Theft Auto 6. When is GTA 6? Is that November 18th?
That's oh, it might be 18th. I wanted to say 15th. Is that a Tuesday? Is the 15th a Tuesday? I believe it's the 15th.
19th.
You say
Okay, the 19th.
19th. Yeah.
Okay, so we have like a week after. Yeah, so it's a week. So, all right. I'll at least get a dabble into one of them. Metaphor. Do you have any excitement to jump into Metaphor on the Switch too? Did you ever play Metaphor?
Yeah, Metaphor has me curious on the Switch too, because I mean the Persona pedigree, the ties that Metaphor has to the Persona franchise and those devs. I saw the huge success that they had and how well their game Persona 4 translated to handheld. I'm really curious what Metaphor is going to look like, getting that system onto a Switch 2, how that works as a handheld. I never got around to Metaphor, but it looks interesting to me, especially it was a Game of the Year contender at the time, and now that Game of the Year contender is coming to Switch, and that's a really exciting prospect.
Yeah, I think it was Persona 3 that came out around that same time, right? That's what you were
Yeah, it was
saying?
earlier in the year. So like I remember kind of like debating those two of like, oh, which Atlas RPG is the one to jump into, that or Metaphor? And I just end up not doing either, so don't ask me.
I remember having that debate though, and I picked P3. I love my time with P3 though. It was a fantastic game. I felt like it ran its course, and it was a very long game. But everything that I heard that year for Metaphor being the great game as it is, this is good. I feel like that's a perfect platform to play it on the Switch too, because it's like pick up and play, and you can kind of make some progress here and there. In Atlas games, I feel like if I had the opportunity to play P3 again, I would have done it on the Switch, because it's got kind of that like grindy mechanic where you have to go back into the school at midnight and you have to go up these levels of stairs, and it was like 100 levels in P3, which took forever. So I am I'm definitely excited to jump into Metaphor and get a little bit of a feel about a different Persona game, or Persona style. I'll let you lead this next one off. So this is Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, let me leave.
Yeah, I feel
Kingdom
like
Hearts. Wow.
Are you a Kingdom Hearts? I won't throw this in, but are you a Kingdom Hearts guy? Were you excited for this?
No, I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. That's why I thought it was funny.
What? Okay, then I have
I
to
was like,
leave this
no,
one.
I'll take it. I'll take it over. Oh, Kingdom Hearts, man. What a franchise. What a franchise. Disney, Final Fantasy. Yeah, they're crazy. You got Mickey going there. He's got the shadows. He's fighting. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, but I like Disney. They look that Disney has intrigued me enough to at least go, I should play one of those. And then, as I'm sure there's a trend in this conversation, never actually playing any of them. But how about you, Adit? How does Kingdom Hearts feel in your heart, in your soul? How does it push away the shadows?
My heart hurts hearing that you've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. And it hurts just because I feel like you would love Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 have definitely aged. I still think they're great games. So, we've got the collection that's coming out. I think this would be a great time for you to jump in and really dabble in them. The stories are, it's a little bit fantasy. It's Disney. It's just so interesting how they merged these two different IPs, the Square Enix and the Disney, Pixar, Marvel. Like, you've got pretty much everything in there. I think it's definitely super exciting. I was watching all of the announcements of people getting so excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. I mean, I'm excited, but I'm not like a diehard fan. So seeing people's reactions, because it basically led off like, oh, here's this whole collection, and suddenly the screen goes black, and then it's like, what is this? What is this? And it's Kingdom Hearts 4, and people are just falling out of their chairs and having a hard time believing that it's Kingdom Hearts 4. So I'm excited for those diehard Kingdom Hearts fans. I'm definitely excited for it. I don't think Switch 2 is going to be the platform I play it on, though. Yeah. I was just also very surprised that this was not in the Summer Games Fest. I feel like this would have been a really great announcement there. Or the Sony PlayStation State of Play. Like, I thought this was a Sony IP, or at least they had a hand in the IP. What happened there?
I wonder if this is just another one of those statements from Square Enix. I know they're trying to distance themselves from Sony right now. They put all their bucket in the PlayStation, making all their Final Fantasy games exclusive, making Kingdom Hearts. I believe Kingdom Hearts 3 was a timed exclusive.
Yes, it was. It was on PS5 or PS4.
Yeah, part of me feels like it might have launched same day on Xbox, but point is, I know Square Enix kind of resents putting Final Fantasy as a PlayStation exclusive for so long, a timed exclusive, and they want to distance themselves from that. That was their big thing with Revelation, going out and saying that this is going to be on every platform simultaneously. I think them going to Nintendo being like, we're going to show Kingdom Hearts 3 or 4 on the Nintendo Direct. That's going to be the big thing near the end, is another statement showing that like we are multi-platform. We are going to the Switch 2 and the Xbox and the PlayStation. We are not exclusive anymore. So I think it's a smart move on their part.
Totally. Yeah. I think that it's definitely going to sell very well on the Switch. I like that they're, this is kind of a soft announcement of like, hey, we're sorry for the cloud versions that we released. We know that you complained a lot about those, guys. So here's, kind of us in a way fixing. And I saw that those cloud versions are actually getting delisted as well. So, but it looked like the save data was going to come over to the collection. So if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you're eating good this year. And I never finished Kingdom Hearts 3, so I'm really happy that I get the chance to jump back in and play it that way. We also have a demo that just came out today too, for Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Switch 2. So I downloaded that. I was watching some people play it, and they were really impressed with the performance. So I just can't believe that we have Kingdom Hearts on the go. So the collection comes out on October 8th. And yeah, your save data will transfer over. No data on Kingdom Hearts 4, but that's probably 2027.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they got Revelation coming out next year, too. That might even be bumped later. The Kingdom Hearts franchise is notoriously takes a long time. I know 3 was... Yeah, I know. We had to wait a long time for 3, so I'd be surprised to see if they released both Revelation and Kingdom Hearts 4 within the same year, but Square has done weirder stuff too. So
yeah, I feel like this is most likely a 2028 title at the earliest. This trailer is just going to hold people over for a while because we hadn't seen anything for a long, long time, and I'm just happy because I I know my girlfriend loves Kingdom Hearts, and she's never really wanted to dabble into the PlayStation. So the Switch is definitely kind of like home for her. So hopefully she'll get the chance to jump back in and play Kingdom Hearts 3 for the first time. And I'll get the chance to finish it. So yeah, Sora's coming to the Switch, and then I'm assuming other platforms as well, Xbox and PS5. So I'll probably honestly pick it up on both. I'll probably double dip here. Some of those titles that I really like, I will. So Kingdom Hearts 4, this is exciting. And then, we thought that was the last thing, right? We thought that was the one last thing, but it wasn't. So how are you feeling about that next announcement, that final announcement that we got?
Oh, yeah. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake that I 100% called yet last episode. All me. No one's ever said that before. No one's ever talked about this before.
I was impressed. It was just out of the blue. I was like, really? Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, I'm like, who to remake that? It's done. It's already happened. Let's remake Skyward Sword again. But again, I kind of felt the way about Duskbloods a little bit. As exciting as it is, again, I getting that confirmation, I think remaking Ocarina of Time is a great move for Nintendo. But after the rumors, finally getting the reveal, it's like, just like how I felt with Duskbloods, I go, is that it? That's everything? They put a 2026 release date at the end of that, but it is just a CG trailer. No gameplay. Kind of gets me worried about if they really believe they can hit that 2026 release date. Talk about another franchise that is notorious for delays, with the way Breath of the Wild got delayed, the way Tears of the Kingdom got delayed. It has me a little worried about the 2026 release date for this game if they don't have any more to show. All that being put aside, though, it is still exciting. I'm still very interested in Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, and part of me is like, okay, if they don't end up releasing it this year. I think it is a great way to start the next year, but what do you think? You think we see it this year?
Yeah, I think, I'm kind of on the opposite end there. I think that they're this confident that they put that 2026 stamp on it, that they're going to release this year. Because this is arguably many people's favorite game of all time. And I think this is like, in many lists, you find this is the highest rated game of all time, at least top 3. And I think you have to be absolutely confident you're going to hit that 2026 release date. Otherwise, the internet is going to revolt and you're going to have Hyrulean fans at your throats if you don't release it this Christmas. I think what they could be doing is strategically positioning themselves against Grand Theft Auto 6 here, though. And I think they're most likely two things. They could do either same time frame as GTA 6. If Nintendo wanted to be petty and be like, hey, well, you're not going to put GTA 6 on our platform, great. We'll release Skyward Sword. I was going to say Skyward Sword.
The Skyward Sword remake confirmed right now. I told you, it's happening. They're doing it twice.
I have a feeling that they, it's possible they could release on the same week as GTA 6 or the same day, just to be like, hey, you know what? F you. We wanted to be, have GTA 6 on our platform, but you didn't want that. So we're going to release something else that everybody else wants. Most likely, though, this is a holiday game. I think this is a perfect Christmas game that, little Timmy's going to want under the tree, that mom and dad that played this back in, the late 90s can play with their kids now. That's why I'm so excited, is because I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this new version of Ocarina of Time. And I think, what you have to do with this is this might not be a remake. I think you consider this a reimagining. And I think there's going to be more content. Things are going to be fleshed out. There's going to be new storylines. Things are going to be different than it was in Ocarina of Time. And I think you're going to see a lot of improvements because, playing arguably Ocarina of Time on the 64, it's kind of a janky game, and they're going to improve it. So I can't wait to see what they do. I'm super excited for Ocarina of Time. Definitely on my up there as far as one of my most hyped games of the year now. Yeah, I just hope it doesn't come out in September because that
Yeah.
would be the worst time frame.
Yeah, I'll be crying then. I do think you make an interesting point about like your confidence on the 2026 release date. Think getting in the holiday season with this, it's again something that Nintendo can be a little bit have a little bit of bravado going into November, especially with a game like this, like an Ocarina of Time remake. That is the type of thing that could go toe to toe with GTA. Uh, Especially when they don't really have to worry about it on their own console and give their fans something while other consoles are going to have Grand Theft Auto 6. Uh, and it's something that maybe like they want to have more later on. I know that like they also announced a deeper dive into Splatoon Raiders as they get closer to release date. Maybe their game plan is to later in the year announce a full-blown Ocarina of Time direct closer to their release date, and really get a deep dive in and show it off and kind of show you why this is the best game of all time, rivaling GTA, not just 6, but 5, but 4, but 3, even 2, but no one's really arguing that. So
Yeah, I think if I had to put a date on it right now, it would be, you've got Dragon Quest Monsters that first week of December. I don't think Nintendo's worried about that. I think it's either going to be the week following GTA 6 or that first or second week of December. That kind of seems like the best territory for it. October is already pretty stacked. September, as we know, is crazily stacked. Nintendo wants this to be like, the game, one of the games of the year. And I'm sure it will be considered for many a game of the year. And they're directly competing with, Grand Theft Auto 6 now, which I don't think if you had asked us, a month ago, what's the other game that can really compete with GTA 6 for game of the year? You might say like, James Bond or, some other titles that are really popular right now. But I don't think there's not like a really big heavy hitter, but this is a heavy hitter. And so now we've got some serious competition. And also Nintendo's not worried about Zelda competing with GTA 6 because you're going to buy both. And they know it because nostalgia sells, baby. And there's nothing more nostalgic than Ocarina of Time and that little fairy telling you, listen.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing with if they release it so close to GTA. I wonder if they are concerned about what that means for the Game Awards. I don't know if that's something that either GTA or Nintendo really concern themselves with, but the closer they get to that Game Awards date, the later it's going to probably not be eligible for it.
You're right.
And
you're right.
That's something that maybe they're both looking at it like, hey, look, Ocarina, like normally what happens is you get like an Indiana Jones in December and it gets forgotten by the end of the next year, even though it is eligible for Game Awards. I don't think people are going to forget about GTA 6. I don't think anyone's going to forget about Ocarina of Time. Maybe that is a play of theirs. Maybe they're just not even concerned. Maybe it's just something us in the culture care about and don't. Nintendo doesn't care. They do their own interesting decisions. So
yeah, I mean, Nintendo hasn't been like, mind me saying they haven't won a game of the year since, what was it? Was it Odyssey that was one game of the year? Or did that
Tears
even win
not?
game of the year? No,
Tears
it didn't.
huh?
No, it might have been
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Breath of the Wild won that year. I was trying to remember if Tears did. Odyssey, or not Odyssey, Bonanza was an interesting race where I feel like when that game first came out, it was a shoo-in to win. And then over time, as you got closer to Game Awards, it seems like many people's interest in it lacked. It still kept in me. Like I still found Bonanza to be endlessly charming. And I remember being quite surprised it didn't hold up more by the end.
Yeah, just so much comes out, but I think you make a great point that releasing it that close to potentially December, I don't think it would be essentially considered for the Game Awards. But who knows, with the hype that's going to be going around at that time, maybe it is. And I think Nintendo's not super concerned about winning Game of the Year. You know, they are just concerned about money. They like money. So,
as long as it's out before Christmas,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they want.
So, well, now that we've reached kind of the end of all of the stuff, you know, obviously we've gone on for a while here. I had a couple questions for you. I'll just, you know, jump to the one, and then I'll answer it, and we'll see how we're feeling. So, as we kind of wind down here, Tyler, what was your biggest highlight from the Direct, and why did that moment land specifically for you?
Well, I think, like I mentioned before, I think it was Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, just because I wasn't really expecting it. It seems so obvious now in hindsight, but part of me was looking at like the version they released before the first Nintendo Switch Sports, and thinking that was enough for Nintendo, that they were just going to kind of leave it there. But once I saw Resort and seeing like, oh yeah, there was so much room for improvement based off what they did with sports. There were little things lacking here and there, little specific sports that were missing that I would have loved to see in that first revival. The Resort Island is such a interesting, cool place to be, that it's like, oh yeah, actually, you know, bringing that into the Switch 2 with updated graphics, with all the sports we want and more, and some new ones, and thumb wrestling is still cool. I'm down for it. Yeah, we didn't need to hear about thumb wrestling for that long. I get it. But I mean, where's baseball? Maybe, you know, use that extra time, put baseball in. That's like the one sport I feel like we're still missing. But I was genuinely surprised by that, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's going to be a big title for a lot of people, and clearly Nintendo knew, you know, there's fans like you out there that likes, you know, Nintendo Switch Resort Sports. It's going to be a heavy seller this holiday for sure.
And what about you?
Yeah, my biggest highlight's probably the Xenoblade upgrades that we're getting throughout all the games, and then Xenoblade Genesis, which was surprising. And it's crazy, we didn't hear any rumors about that. So it was nice to have one game that wasn't rumored or leaked just pop up as a surprise. It's nice to have those surprises. Like, I do like, you know, rumors and leaks to a degree, but then you don't have these like highs that you got during this Direct. So I'm glad it didn't get spoiled. So what was your biggest disappointment or missed opportunity that you thought from this Direct?
Oof. I mean, I think it's a tie between some of the biggest games. I would probably lean on Duskbloods though, just because I really thought it was the right time to show more of that game. And I get it, we're going to get a test, but it's still like a closed network test. It's not this open beta where everyone gets to play and they get an idea going in. They still seem to be keeping this game under wraps at an odd time for them. I don't think it benefits anybody not showing the game at this point, especially if they think they're going to release it by the end of the year or somewhat soon.
It's because they're delaying it. I'm telling you.
That's gonna be what it is. And again, like when the thing is like what's great about this Direct is looking at Fortune's Weave, looking at the other lineup, like the rest of the lineup going on, getting a deeper dive into Splatoon Raiders. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with the rest of the year. So it's like, yeah, take your time. We probably don't need some. Please don't release another game in September. By God. So that's my goal. Or that's my hope.
Yeah, those are good disappointments. I think for me, my biggest disappointment is where was Nintendogs? I mean, come on. We have not had a Nintendogs game in, I don't know, since the 3DS era. It felt like the time. I felt it in the air, you know? There was chatter. Everybody on Twitter was talking about it.
Yeah, they're barking about it all day.
Everybody's barking. Now we're all pissed.
Everybody's barking. The dogs are out.
Yeah,
my dogs are out right now.
People have forgotten.
I'm excited for Nintendogs too, but yeah, the dogs are also out.
Yeah, people have done like what they did with their puppies on their 3DS, and they've forgotten about them, and they have all died. So just
Yeah.
like Nintendo. I don't know, maybe next year. I was really sad that we didn't see any of that. But on the real note, I think not having anything from Call of Duty would have been nice to see. Like, what are we
Hmm.
getting Call of Duty wise on the Switch too?
Yeah,
Because I know they're trying to hype that up.
that's also another big one of like, this was like, what is Xbox doing? This was a big moment for them to really push Call of Duty, and kind of like what I was saying about Square Enix, where it's like, we're going to make a statement here. You could have made your statement here. There was even rumors this morning about a Black Ops 1 and 2 port.
I
People
saw
were
that.
pushing. Yeah, people were looking at that going, this is likely going to be at the Direct. It's going to be for Nintendo Switch. That's their big push. That is their statement. And they don't deliver. Kind of a bummer for Call of Duty fans, but maybe they're just too scared of the Call of Duty of Nintendo's Splatoon Raiders. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, it's just time frame. When do you show off Call of Duty on Switch? Because presumably we don't have another direct till September, unless you do just like a targeted Twitter release marketing video on Twitter talking about Call of Duty, or a Call of Duty Direct. But I think Activision's going to save that for Xbox. So yeah, it doesn't bode well. I don't think. Maybe they're early stages of developing it for Switch too. But we'll find out because it's coming up in just about 4-ish months. We'll have Call of Duty. Well, 4-ish months. We'll have Call of Duty on the Switch too. Last question here, and then we'll wrap out because we've been here for a long time, Tyler. I appreciate your time.
I'm having fun.
So, last question here. After seeing this direct, do you feel more confident or less confident about Nintendo's next year?
Yeah. I feel like it's a little early. I going in, I thought we were going to get more. I thought we were going to get a clearer picture on what their next year was going to look like. It still seems super vague. It's funny considering, like, I feel like the rest of these presentations, the PlayStation Showcase, SGF, Xbox, were a lot more focused on 2027 than I would have thought. And then Nintendo comes in and is actually a lot more focused on the rest of 2026 than I would have thought. So it seems a little early to tell. I do see Ocarina getting pushed, and I think that is, like, I'm still on that boat that will be your 2027 regardless. Within a year, I think that's promising. I think that's super promising. I look at the rest of the year and their slate. I'm excited for Fortune's Weave. You got Splatoon Raiders. These are still big franchises for Nintendo, and they're just kind of cultivating them, keeping them interesting with the improvements to Fortune's Weave, with the new take on Splatoon with Raiders, and then also, catering to more of the nostalgia that Nintendo is known for with Star Fox Remake, Ocarina of Time Remake. I think it's promising. I think there is still like one or two big games that I'm sure under wraps that would really make the next coming year. But I guess we're just got to wait and see on that. What are you thinking about the next year, though?
Yeah, I think so far everything that we've seen, at least the games that they're releasing with the performance that they're releasing on, you have Final Fantasy Rebirth just came out not too long ago on the Switch too. And we're getting some big heavy hitters. Regardless, they are a couple years old and they're ports, but these were PS4, PS5 games. And you have Resident Evil 9 Requiem that came to the Switch too. So we're getting like some same day and date games that are on other consoles. We never had that in the Switch generation. So this, I think, is a new era of Nintendo that we have right now, of them releasing games that are coming out. So if you say, oh, that game looks cool, but crap, it's on, PlayStation 5 and I don't have a PS5, I just have a Switch 2, you can feel pretty confident that it most likely, if it's a big game, might come to Switch 2. Maybe it's not day and date, but it might come down in 6 months to a year afterwards. And I think that's exciting because, again, we didn't have that in the Switch 1 generation. So it seems like, things have changed with the new upper management in Nintendo. People have clamored for, obviously the metaphor and the Lies of P. I guess my question is, where's Expedition 33? But not all of them can sneak in, and maybe that'll be a September direct thing. But so far, I'm happy with the way that Nintendo's going so far. I think this new management is doing a good job of leveraging, that nostalgia feel with like Ocarina, and then, hey, maybe it's time we bring Call of Duty to Switch. And then here's some of the, the small games that you remember from 10 years ago. Here's Rhythm Heaven, and we hope that keeps you happy for a little while because you're never going to see it again, kind of deal, just like they did with Advance Wars. But I'm excited for Nintendo going into the next couple of years. And I'm just happy we got some games. Clearly, I've got a backlog of stuff that's going to keep me happy.
Don't we all, yeah.
But, this stuff is just stuff that's going to keep me excited. This is the stuff that keeps me excited. And I genuinely look forward to talking about video games and having fun here on this podcast has been so fun. So, I think we've got a good Nintendo head on our shoulders going into 2027, permitting Ocarina comes out this year. If not, Nintendo fans will riot. Anyways, what do you guys think? It's going to be pushed. You'll go down on that one.
I hope I'm wrong.
I do too. But we've been chatting for an hour and a half, Tyler. Man, this has been such a fun conversation. I appreciate your time here. Asking the audience here, what do you guys think about this Nintendo Direct? Thanks so much for sticking around through listening to us chat. What were your thoughts on this Nintendo Direct? What do you grade it on 1 to 10? I'm probably in the 8 out of 10 range. Tyler, why don't you close us out? Tell us where people can find you and what your overall rating on this Nintendo Direct was.
Yeah, you can find me at SuitAndTyler on YouTube, where I post various different gaming-related videos, different content there, reviews and such. And when it comes to a rating, I think I give it a 7. I think the big what should be big hits falling a little flat, kind of raising more questions for me as it really drags it a bit. But solid performance overall from them.
You heard it, folks. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure, if you could, leave a subscribe and tell us in the comments about what you thought of this Nintendo Direct. That's all from me. Remember, be kind, play on, and also, Tyler, play Kingdom Hearts. You'll like it, I promise.
Eventually.
Bye, guys.
Later.